Oh shit, Shadasia Green. You gonna have to follow up behind the caller of the year? Uh-oh. What up, champ? What's cooking? I seen you on some Blue Ocean. Were you on vacation?
Yeah, man. What's up to the Boxing Voice Nest,
Where you at, in the
Annie?
Bahamas?
Yeah, man. My birthday was August 7th. My 1 year marriage anniversary is this week. Wifey birthday is on September, so we kind of just concluded it and put it all together. And I feel like it was well deserved. I came out here. I'm having a great time, man. This water is some of the most beautiful water I've ever seen in my life.
Amazing.
Real. I deserved it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Word.
and then I'm getting to the last couple of days, and I'm ready to get back in the gym, man. But while I've been away, it's been a lot of stuff going on, bro. And I gotta say this, like, I feel crazy for Alicia, you know what I'm saying? Because there's not a lot of top female fighters in the sport, and Alicia separates herself, and she's one of the best. Skills can't be denied. What she's accomplished shouldn't be diminished or denied. I feel like we putting the cart before the horse, and we don't really know exactly what happened and what's going on, and we just looking for ways to blame this person and that person. Like, let this woman get a chance to, do whatever it is that she got to do to prove. Me personally, Alicia boxing skills and her body, like shit. I want her body. My wife want her body. Like, bro, she's been like that since I've seen her in the amateurs. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we gotta watch how hard we go on fighters because you don't know what type of state that all these comments, and I've seen some brutal comments. Like, if I didn't ask God to prepare me for where He was taking me, I would have been depressed. I would have been quit because I could go on YouTube and it could be 1,000 comments. 900 of them could be like, "Yo, you a beast," da da da. But then you get those other comments like, "She's a man. She's a he. Who is this, Tony?" And check her piss, and she's on PEDs, and somebody will say, "Yo, her physique is amazing," and I feel like it's okay. And then the next person right under that be like, "Bro, this a man." You know what I'm saying? So it's this sport is one of the hardest sports ever, but everybody is so damn judgmental. And the person behind the computer that's calling me a man got a bare belly, got a hole in the middle of his head, and ain't never took a mile walk in his life. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. I feel for her, and I don't feel like everything that she's accomplished should be diminished because I'm sure she's tested before previous fights, huge fights. Let let the truth prevail itself. I'm sure it will. Just get to the bottom of it, and instead of pouring on hate, give her some love, give her some uplifting. You don't know exactly what she's going through. She started from the same place I started, from the bottom. It wasn't promoters lined up to sign her. It wasn't people lined up to take her on. It wasn't people felt, she fought, she lost in the first couple of fights, came back, now she's strong. Now she where she wanna be, she deserves, she putting on. So that's my take on that, man. I don't know what y'all think about it, but I feel for her, man. For real. I'm praying for her. I hope all this works out in her favor. For real.
Champ, shit, I gotta be that dude or I won't be the Howard Stern of this shit. Did you have that same energy for Alejandra Jimenez that tested positive with Franchon Cruz?
Yeah, I did. Not necessarily to because I had never seen Alexander Jimenez prior to that. And I know she
Alejandra,
was coming.
Alejandra.
Okay. I'm
Shit.
sorry, Alejandra. I
Oh
hadn't
shit.
watched her. I didn't. No disrespect, but I didn't watch her fight a couple of fights before she fought Franchon. She kind of just came out of nowhere, and just like me, she came. She went from a heavyweight to a super middleweight. So there's a big difference, especially with weight classes, right? So I just I didn't know too much of her. Like I said, I used to see Alicia walking around at the amateurs. She's always had that power. I used to hear her punching the pads, and I'm like, yeah, this girl gonna win. She's always had that power. So is the energy the same? Of no, I mean not necessarily. I might be biased in a sense, but Alicia is somebody that I've seen and I'm a fan of, and will remain a fan of. Alexandra, Alexandria Jimenez kind of came out of nowhere.
For sure, for
Kind of came out
sure.
not that that is a probable excuse, but I believe that the testing had been conducted on a couple of times, and the truth did prevail itself, and she was positive. And I was the first one to say that Franchon Cruz should get her belts back, even though me and Franchon wasn't. We didn't get along then. I said Franchon Cruz deserved, and that was still a close fight. So I do need you to be Howard Stern because it's rightfully so.
Um, what are your thoughts? Obviously, I don't know if you heard Jessica McCaskill's statement and then retraction, but long story short, there was some insinuation that because because Baumgardner is a potentially free agent, that there could have been some shady business. She retracted that now. I'm only asking you because you've partially dealt with like Dazn Matchroom. If you haven't, let me know specifically. But have you been tested, and what has that process been like for you?
I haven't been. I was tested for each of my fights, but there is a more probable testing when a title is on the line. My experience with Matchroom the Zone is strictly through MVP. They co-promote whenever I'm involved in an event. So I'm not. I didn't get a chance to really hear her statements, but again, there's no blame to be placed on the promoters and whatnot. When I fought last 2 weeks ago, I had a guy. I'm not sure what he was, but he was a doctor. He handled my drug testing himself, and you sign off and you send your specimen with him. And when I fought in New York, which was basically for the what was that called? The mandatory title. I had to walk with my specimen to make sure it safely got to where it needed to be. So I can't necessarily have an opinion or speak on Matchroom and the promoter standpoint as far as drug testing is concerned. Uh, I don't know necessarily. Jessica McCaskill and her team is responsible for their own comments and their experience. My experiences are quite different. I'm sure everybody's experiences are quite different. But like I said, I just hope the truth can prevail itself, and I just think we need to be a little bit more gentle with this topic as far as women's boxing. We don't have a lot of talented people in here, and I'm not saying that just because we don't, that people should be given a pass. But I just think that if Alicia did 20 things right, and then one thing pops up that could possibly be isn't questioned, and we're not for sure yet, why should she be crucified for the one thing more than the 20 things she did right? Let it work itself out. Let the truth prevail.
Champ, I want to take you back to a Facebook post I think you posted yesterday or maybe 48 hours ago where you finally said you sat down to watch your last fight with Olivia Curry, and that I don't want to misquote you, but I feel like you said the person that people made up you didn't see, and I'm assuming you mean like people thought she looked better than what you thought she looked versus you.
Yeah. What's your question?
I mean, I want your thoughts on your
I mean,
Facebook post. I want you to break it down what that meant for you, because I read it, but I interpreted it a certain way. I want to know what it meant for you when you said you went back and watched it, and what you said
well,
specifically.
basically, I went back and watched it. I was able to watch it, and I was able to listen to the commentary. The DAZN commentary. There's one guy that really was stating facts. That basically he was saying like, listen, Curry's corner is saying Shadasia Green is getting tired. She doesn't look tired to me. She's pouring on. She's dominating the fight. She's she's taking over. Some of these punches that she's hitting her with, if she hit anybody else with, they're gone. Now, just how I'm calling in, and I'm a fan of Alicia. I gotta be honest. I felt like Alicia and Sean Porter were very, especially Sean Porter, which I'm not mad at him at all. I didn't take offense to it. I felt like they were pretty biased. They were giving her more credit for being able to stand in front of me in the ring for 10 rounds rather than me putting on a dominating performance. I barely got touched. I'm using my jab. They said I wasn't using my jab enough. And before I put that post out there, I talked to my coaches who watched it again, and they were very pleased with me. Of course, I could have. Thank you. I could have done more. Of course, I could have forced the issue of getting her out of there. But I'm glad I had Olivia Curry in front of me who got a full camp, who was able to train for me. She knew who the opponent was and who pushed me to the limits and brought greatness out of me as well. I dominated that fight in beautiful fashion. I put combinations together. You never seen a female put combinations together like that besides like power combinations together like that, going to the body. I could have set a lot more on my punches. I George Foreman her a lot, and that's somebody I watch. And you'll see George Foreman in his later days against Michael Moore, against he uses his hands. Hands. He's parrying with the hands, and he's walking towards you, and he's trying to get power shots off. But I wanted to show people a different element. If you look at what I said prior to the fight, I said I want to show people something that they never seen before, which was my inside game. So if I would stay on the inside with it for the first minute and a half or a minute and 20 seconds, and then the last 30, 40, like when I would try to move around a little bit. I felt like Alicia and Sean Porter was very they was giving her more credit for being here and standing in the ring with me, and I'm not mad at that. Look what Timothy Bradley does to Shakur Stevenson, who has dominating performances, and just because he couldn't get I forgot the guy's name out, they called his career suspect. Like, if you can't get these guys out, well, that guy had power, but Shakur still put on a beautiful performance and still won every round. So I can't be necessarily upset or emotional about the fact that they commentated the fight the way they did, because there's bigger fighters who I used to watch. uh Larry, what's his name, Larry Merchant, or I forgot his name,
Yeah, Larry Merchant. Larry
criticize
Merchant.
he used to criticize Floyd and said, well, the old hit and run don't move me, but it wins rounds. And Floyd is boxing beautifully. Floyd is touching and not getting touched. And they used to do that so many times, especially when Pretty Boy Floyd turned into Floyd Mayweather. So I didn't take offense to it. I wasn't upset. I actually took some of the things that they said and said, you know what, I'm going to work on that. Alicia said, if she sit down on some of these punches and that hooks, whew, again, I'm a big fan of Alicia. So I'll take that back to the gym and back to the lab and work on it. But again, like my post said, the fight that they were commentating, that wasn't the fight. I dominated Olivia career from round, and then they gave her round one. And Barry, my coach Barry, was like, "What round were they? What?" And they are realists. Barry and Terrific are realists to me. They're not my fans. They don't sugarcoat shit. If anything, they're the hardest critics. My mother is the hardest critic. I'm beefing with her over the fight, and she admitted it. I wanted a knockout. Well, guess what? When you start facing that top competition, I'm glad that I was able to show the world. Look, if I don't get and another thing is, I don't mean to keep rambling, but I seen a interview where Olivia Curry said, or Rick Ramos said, if we get her past 6 rounds, we can win the fight. If you notice, in the sixth, the seventh, and the eighth round, I had her hurt bad. I'm smiling at her. I wanted to go 10 rounds. I wanted to go 10 rounds because, yeah, get me in those later rounds and I'm gonna still dominate. That's my take on that.
I mean, technically, you don't want it to go 10 rounds. You would have preferred the knockout. Like, who, you don't get paid for overtime, but I get what you're saying. You wanted to,
Hmm.
prove the doubters wrong and the detractors, but you're on vacation. Claressa did ask her audience on Twitter, do y'all want me to go up to 168 and knock off Shadasia Green? And she basically said that, she wasn't impressed with your performance. I'm sure you remember, and I'm sure you guys have had your own back and forths on Twitter. But what's your thoughts on her alleging that she would move up to 68 and take you out? Do you think she meant before you fight Marshall or after you fight Marshall?
Well, I don't care what she meant. She's not more important than Savannah Marshall, because Savannah Marshall has something that I want, and it's 4 or 5 of those things. So who cares what she meant before or after? But I would love that challenge because she talked too much. She talked too damn much to be specific. But hey, that's her. That's the competitiveness in her. That's the hatred that she has towards me because of things that we went through. And that's fine. Sometimes it just makes for a hell of a story. I ain't backing down from Claressa Shields. Never have, never will, never did. I'm from Patterson. We don't back down, we lay backs down.
Mm.
Ex- exclusive rights to exclusive rights to Kindle Rated R Holt. Okay, when that fight happens, I'm looking forward to it. That is, she's a phenomenal fighter, and you won't get no backtrack from me. But like I said, and I will continuously say, the main priority is Savannah Marshall. That's the next fight. Savannah Marshall is more important than anybody. I think about her more than I think about anybody. I think about her more than I think about my wife. So that should tell you something.
Now, champ, again, gotta ask the tough questions. When you finally do meet Green, when you finally do meet Claressa, she's gonna be a lot younger than you by a lot, right? Like what, 7, 8 years?
Yeah, maybe.
Is
I'm
that?
21 now. I'm 21. You see how good I look? Stop playing with me. I look good. No, yeah, she is a lot, no, a lot
But
younger.
listen,
And
it was questioned about Crawford because him going into his biggest fight of his career, he was 35, and that didn't matter. So sometimes age doesn't matter. George Foreman, who you brought up, he beat Michael Mora after 40 or in his 40s. So for some, it don't matter.
what you asking me? To me, what matters is listen. Okay, her age says one thing. Geographically, the age is difference is different. But how many like as far as professional is concerned, my biggest fights are in front of me. They weren't behind me. So for professional years and career wise, I'm still very young in the sport of boxing. I got a lot more to give.
Now, outside of your goals of the belts, is there still was there really no feud between you and Franchon, or is there still something there that you would be willing to still fight her even though she doesn't have belts? And I don't mean next, I just mean in general.
There was few because Franchon disrespected me on a level that a lot of people can't overlook, a lot of people can't take in, and a lot of people, um, ask me how did I deal with that. I would have to sit down with my team. Me personally, honestly, she didn't give me a shot, so why does she deserve a shot with me? And I know you hate that. I know you went off about the whole Errol Spence Keith Thurman thing, which was rightfully so. But again, Errol Spence had that right. When he was up for the titles and mandatory, Keith Thurman said, "Who is this guy? I don't know him. He has to do more work."
But
Franchon
you
went
know
over there.
Franchon though. I mean, she got a
Yeah,
song
Yeah,
on iTunes.
but you talking about that, but
I didn't listen to her
that,
song. Shout out to Jake Paul with his new Witness song. It's hot. It's beautiful. It's crazy. Jake Paul is the man. How this man go from promoting to fighting to TV shows? Listen, everybody,
Both they
listen up.
songs
Go
beautiful, champ.
again. Go listen to Jake Paul Witness. Popping, popping, and make this short so my boy can see it. Shout out to Jake Paul. Go stream Witness right now, all over the place. Beautiful song. I'm listening to it in the Bahamas. I'm going to put it on the DJ and let everybody in the pool listen to it before I go parasailing. Scared to death.
Champ,
but
enjoy your
hold
vacation.
on, I got a question. Hold on.
Danny.
Last thing, but champ, you bringing up the Earl and Keith Thurman instance, like you would have the amount of options that they have, right? You have like a bunch, like a lot more limited options.
Well, she was bringing it up more because they had an existing feud and
No,
Earl
I,
ain't
I
fight him.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, it's like Earl and Keith both had a lot of options versus she don't have that many options, in my opinion.
So you saying you
It
should
may
still
have to.
take
It
if
may
the
have to
fight is there, if the
happen.
fight is there, she should still want it.
I'm not saying what she should want. I'm just saying it may
I
have
can
to
move up
happen.
and move down. I can move up and move down, just like she
Oh
made
my.
choices with the belts. You know what I'm saying? I can move up
Mm.
and move down, and I can also do the opposite of what she did and give whoever's mandatory the rightful shot at the WBC, the WBA, the WBO when I win it, or the IBF. I could do the right thing. It's women. This is the beauty of the sport. The sport is growing, okay? So now you got Shadasia Green, you got Claressa Shields, you got Savannah Marshall, you got Amanda Serrano, Alycia Baumgardner, Chantel Cameron, you got Katie Teller. You got so many people that's out there motivating these women to get in the sport and be the best at it because skillful, this is who they look at. You know what I'm saying? So now when I win those titles, God willing, and I go and handle my business, let me look at who's mandatory or let me look at who's going to make the biggest fight and give them an opportunity, something that Franchon Cruz didn't do.
Mm.
Period.
That's right. Fights are mandatory. That's what Boots want. He want Crawford to fight him. Listen,
Exactly. And Boost deserve it. He's been putting on shows. You know, Boost is the next best thing, man. Straight like that. Boost is the next best thing. When he get his opportunity to get those belts, he's gonna move up and get some more belts. And that's that. Don't try to listen, people will try to keep you out for no apparent reason just because of their dislike or their disarray. You know, I know secret conversations where it's like, yo, it's only enough for us. Let's know. Nah, you got some little girl or some teenager or some young woman right now is in the same predicament I was and is putting on and busting her ass in the gym to only go and fight in a gym or a school gym, to never be recognized, to climb the rankings from the bottom, going to Mexico, going to Colombia, to not getting paid for fights. Some young lady is out there fighting and fighting and fighting and not getting the recognition she deserves, and then a champion sees that she's mandatory and bypass her. Shadasia Green don't do that, and I'm gonna stop that because it was done to me. You understand what I'm saying?
certainly understand it. But do my co-host though.
I'm listening.
Yo, Danny, open
Yo,
your ears, get the
Shadasia.
wax out, put a
Ooh.
Q-tip in it. Nah, I like Danny.
Nah,
Yo, all love Danny.
Champ, Q-tips is bad for you. You tripping?
Yeah, you right. I think so. I've been using them to put the little cream on my little cut, man. I got a little cut from the head, but
Nah, they said that was a punch, yo.
I'm going back to the beach. I'm going back to the beach for the y'all reunion, man. Shout out to the boxing voice, Ness, and Danny. Keep doing your and yo. I love CYP, man. Tell him he don't gotta go so hard to prove what he knows is facts, man. It is what it is, man. Shout
he
out to all the followers and the listeners. You know what I'm saying?
he hear you. He on the line. Appreciate you, champ. Thank you for making the show great by gracing us with your presence, man.
Enjoy your
Nah,
vacation, champ.
thank y'all.
For
I will
sure.
do. All right, man.
All right, there you have it. That was Shadasia Green. We can
Family, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to that 1 million subscribers. We're on the road to 1 million. And obviously, we have other great content on our Patreon channel. So since this video is over, head on over to our Patreon and check out all the exclusive content or right here on our YouTube members.